That war should have never, ever started, but it did, and we're trying to get it solved. That was Biden's situation. We're trying to get it done, and I think we're closer now, and they will tell you that they're closer now. We had numerous conversations with President Putin of Russia, and I think we're closer now than we have been ever.
What the United States has put on the table here in Berlin in terms of legal and material guarantees is truly remarkable. This is a very important step forward, which I greatly welcome.
The United States says it has made a historic offer to Ukraine, security guarantees as strong as NATO's Article 5, and believes Russia may accept it. After marathon talks behind closed doors in Berlin, U.S. officials called the discussions with President Volodymyr Zelensky a potential turning point in the war. Washington says this deal would shield Ukraine with NATO-like protection without formal membership, a pledge that any future attack would be met with a powerful, unified response. U.S. officials stress the offer is not open-ended. The guarantees, they say, are on the table right now, but not forever. President Donald Trump is expected to personally press the deal forward, speaking with Zelensky and European leaders as momentum builds. The White House insists this is the strongest security package Ukraine has ever been offered, designed to deter Russia through military strength and international backing.
My second point concerns the consensus that has been reached, namely that a ceasefire is to be secured by substantial legal and material security guarantees from the United States and the Europeans. This is truly a far-reaching, substantial agreement that we have not had before, namely that both the Europeans and the Americans are jointly willing. And President Zelensky has referred to providing Ukraine with security guarantees similar to Article 5 of the NATO treaty. From my point of view, this is truly a major step forward. And as I said, the American side has also committed itself politically and in perspective legally to do this. I want to say at this point, we will not repeat the mistakes of Minsk at exactly this point. Instead, there must now be a guarantee of a ceasefire through appropriate security guarantees for Ukraine. What this will mean in concrete terms specifically will certainly, among those who still have to discuss this, are those who will then provide these security guarantees individually. But as I said, the USA and the Europeans, and with that, it is clear that these will be comprehensive security guarantees for Ukraine, which we will then agree upon together and define in detail. Now, it is only up to Russia whether it will be possible to achieve a ceasefire by Christmas. I also want to take this opportunity to once again make a very urgent appeal to the Russian government, to the Russian president, to at least leave the Ukrainian people in peace over Christmas, to refrain from further bombing and missile attacks, which in recent weeks and months have almost exclusively targeted civilian infrastructure, kindergartens, hospitals, and energy supply facilities.
But the hardest question remains unresolved: territory. Trump has openly said Ukraine may have to surrender land, a position Zelensky has repeatedly rejected after nearly 4 years of war. To bridge the divide, the U.S. has floated a bold idea: an economic free zone in contested areas, postponing the final question of sovereignty. The talks were led by Trump's top envoy, Steve Witkoff, and advisor Jared Kushner, as Washington races to lock in a deal that could redefine the war's endgame. The offer is out, the pressure is on, and the world is watching what happens next.
People of Ukraine, of course, not all questions are simple. There are complex issues, particularly those concerning territories. Undoubtedly, all of them are being raised questions. Yes, and here it is important that we all work towards. Such questions are absolutely fair. There has been enough dialogue regarding the territory. It seems to me that for now we have different positions, I'll be honest, but I think my colleagues have heard my personal stance. I'm very glad that I was able to personally convey this position. There are some things that, in my opinion, are destructive and definitely won't help us. What's important is that I don't see them today in our new drafts of the documents. And for me, that's important because dignity matters. Well, as for the issue of concessions, that's definitely this is a complete non-issue, an absolute non-issue. I believe that the United States has demanded anything at all. I genuinely see us as truly strategic partners in this significant endeavor. That is precisely why I phrased it in that particular way. The critical issue of disputed territories, specifically regarding the Russian perspective or their explicit Russian demands, we have clearly heard about from the United States of America. We perceive these as demands from the Russian Federation, and that's why I couldn't demand anything from the US either. I simply passed it on to my colleagues from the US so that they could convey our perspective to the Russians.